The Obama administration's bid to promote renewable energy will hit a high watermark this summer with the first auction of rights to develop projects in federal waters. At least 9 companies will compete to build windmills on 2 sites offshore Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Together, those projects could power more than 1 million homes. It's the biggest effort so far by the administration to encourage wind energy projects up and down the Atlantic coast, a goal that still faces significant headwinds. Here to discuss this milestone is the Deputy Director of the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, Walter Cruickshank. Welcome to the program, Walter.
Thank you, Bill.
Walter, Interior Secretary Sally Jewell said the other day that with this auction on July 31st, the U.S. is moving closer to tapping the enormous potential of offshore wind. How close are we to that?
There's still a lot of work that will need to be done. Our role is to try and create the opportunity for companies to find places that are suitable for offshore wind, that reduce the level of conflict, find manageable levels of conflict, and get those leases into the hands of wind developers so that they can go about the work of designing their projects and getting their financing in order and try to bring them to fruition. And that will be a multi-year process after the leases are issued.
Could be some years then, right, until we actually see those turbines spinning and electricity being delivered to the coast.
For the leases we announced this week, that's right. But there are other projects that are ongoing, so there's the potential to see some turbines, some steel in the water as early as next year.
At least 9 companies have pre-qualified for this July auction. What makes them qualified?
We have sort of a 3-legged stool that is required for qualification. The easy one is legal qualification. You need to be incorporated under the laws of the United States or any of the states. For technical and financial, it's a little bit different. We can't say you have to have built a wind farm offshore in United States waters, because obviously that's never been done before. So what we look for on the technical side is a company that has put together a team of people with relevant experience, whether it's managing projects to build renewable energy onshore or other sorts of electricity generating plants, whether they've been involved in marine construction, but folks with relevant technical experience that would benefit a project like this. Financially, it's similar. We don't expect them to have the hundreds of millions of dollars up front that a project is going to take eventually, but enough money to see through those early stages of doing the surveys and the assessment of the site, and a plan for how they would finance the project longer term.
So it's some time before they'd be at a point, even for those who win this auction in July, that they would be at a point where they have to be talking to utilities about actually committing to buy electricity from them.
That's right. The process that we have in place is once you have a lease, you have 6 months in which to give us a plan for how you're going to do site assessment, how you're going to put up a met tower or marine buoy or what have you to assess the winds and the ocean conditions. And after that, you have 5 years to do that site assessment work and design your project before you need to come into us with a construction and operations plan.
I'm always interested in what motivates interest in this offshore wind energy, both for folks like you in the government as well as the companies that are anticipating bidding on this in this auction. I mean, offshore wind energy is expensive. It's some nearly 3 times more expensive than onshore wind power and onshore natural gas electricity, according to the Energy Information Administration. I mean, how can it compete effectively anytime soon?
Look at some of the areas along the Atlantic coast in particular. There are a number of states where there really aren't places onshore where you can build big utility scale projects. And that's what makes offshore wind attractive. It's close to the market, relatively close to shore. Yes, they're more expensive to build, but perhaps not so much more expensive than having to take wind from North Dakota and bring it by wire.
An established project, and one that is kind of established, Cape Wind, but it's taken 10 years for Cape Wind to get to the point now where it seems as though they're about ready to begin construction with some 130 turbines off Cape Cod. There've been a lot of legal battles there. What has the agency learned from that experience?
Our approach now is to try and really pull together the interested parties up front to see if we can find a place where conflict can be more manageable.
Among the states, I don't know what sorts of issues they raise. I know in the Congress right now there's a push by Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana to share revenue from offshore development with states. States ever raised that in the case of offshore wind, or that they would like to see a share of that revenue with the government?
Yes and no. I think they would like to see a share of the revenues, and there is a little bit of revenue sharing for projects that have a footprint within 3 miles of state waters, but not for those farther offshore. But I think a lot of the states are here to really try and see these projects as a way to spur some economic development within the state and to bring clean power to their state. So
it's not an
yes,
issue that's
revenue sharing would be nice, but it's not a make or break issue for the state in deciding whether they want to pursue these projects.
Well, we'll be interested to watch the results of the auction July 31st. Walter Cruickshank is the Deputy Director of the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.